Hi everyone and welcome to my channel hube tabibi. This video of mine is about New Year blues. Well, does this depressing conversation sound like the one you have with yourself sometimes between Thanksgiving and New Year's? Year after year, I didn't take up that 15 pounds. I didn't make as much money as I said I would. I didn't get that promotion or switch jobs. I am hopeless. While some people look forward to New Year's parties and resolutions, others dread this traditional time to take stock and look back on the past year's accomplishments or lack thereof. If you are mildly or moderately depressed already, or perhaps suffer from depression in winter, all this taking stock of yourself can make things worse, especially if you tell yourself you never measure up. There are some medical experts who tell us how to understand what may be behind your urge to do become blue and self-critical around the new year, and how to resist the new year's blues this time. Well, to look back at the year and what we have done is natural to a degree, says Susan Nolan Oxema, PhD professor of psychology at Yale University, who has researched depression and the habit of rumination. And that rumination is going over and over your problems and feelings without taking any action to overcome or solve them. In fact, at the new year, it is difficult not to reassess at least a bit, says Nolan Hoxema, the author of Women Who Think Too Much, Surf the Net, Turn on Television or Radio, and there they are, all these year in review stories. The media goes over and over what happened this year, she says. So it is understandable to some degree that many of us do too. Soon after the year in review shows comes talk about New Year resolutions, and any talk about making a resolution invariably means focusing on your shortcomings, says Edward Abramson, who is a PhD professor of psychology emeritus at California State University, Chicago, and author of Body Intelligence and Emotional Eating. To make matters worse, the talk about resolution making follows a host of holiday occasions, whether you celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, or Kwanzaa, that rarely live up to expectations, Abramson adds, and some people may blame themselves for that too. If you are already depressed, you may rate yourself and your accomplishments lower than others would, Nolan Hoxema says. Now I'll tell you about some ruminators and the New Year blues. If you find yourself assessing and reassessing the year, becoming more and more depressed, you may be a ruminator. Women are more likely than men to have this habit, Nolan Hoxema says. In her research, she has focused on ruminators. She describes ruminators as those who go over and over their problem either in their own mind or by discussing them with others, but have no clear plan to solve the issue, she has found. Those who ruminate also tend to have negative coping styles, criticize themselves unduly, and be pessimistic. Ruminating and depression often go hand in hand. Recognizing when to stop ruminating is crucial. Everyone ruminates some, she says. The real difficulty arises, she says, when you realize all the thinking and rethinking about a problem or issue is not getting you anywhere or is making you feel worse, and still you cannot quit. People who get stuck in rumination think there is going to be insight by keeping on thinking about it, she says. They may have more trouble than others shifting their attention to other topics. Depression can make ruminating worse. Well, on this channel, I have already posted a very informative video about depression. If you haven't seen that already, then you can see that informative video. Okay. Well, if you are already in a depressed mood and get started on a rumination cycle, you will tend to focus on the worst aspect of a problem, she says. Rumination and depression are a toxic mix. The rumination feeds the depression and vice versa. The process is so reciprocal, says Nolan Hoxema, that it is difficult to identify sometimes which started it all. For those stuck in the end of year scorecard exercise, Abramson and Nolan Hoxema offer some suggestions to get out of the rut. Okay, now I'll tell you some suggestions to get rid of these New Year blues. Well, first of all, anticipate. If you have been in this ruminating route before, making a plan to minimize it this year before the end of year arrives. I mean, you should make a plan to minimize this ruminating habit this year before the end of this year. Okay. Also, you should ask why not, why me? When the rumination starts to surface, do not dwell on your shortcomings. Instead, think a bit about why some things you wanted to happen this year didn't. Okay. Then there's another strategy, that is shift into action. Instead of mourning or moping, ask yourself, what is a small thing I can do to change the situation? Then the next is very helpful strategy, and that is get active or distract yourself. When you fall back into the ruminating habit, walk around the block, go to the gym, or head for the mall. Physical activity works, Nolan Hoxman says. Within 10 minutes you are feeling better, she says. It is hard to ruminate and shift to action at the same time. Distraction works too, she has found in her studies. When she asked some ruminators to think about something else other than the problem, they were not as adept later at recalling negative events as those who were not distracted from their ruminating. Also, you should be specific. If you decide to make a New Year's resolution, be reasonable and decide exactly what you will do. Abramson says, not a global resolution about making yourself a wonderful person, he says instead. I won't yell at the kids, or instead of I will lose 20 pounds, try when I know they are having donuts at work, I will bring fruit instead. So this is a very very good advice. I mean, as you have seen in so many medical videos of mine in this channel, I usually give dietary advice. I mean, especially for the people who are having some chronic illnesses such as hypertension and diabetes, and the big problem of obesity. So, I mean, I also give advice regarding the exercise and the diet. In fact, there's a very interesting video about 2 golden rules on this channel. I advise everyone to see that video. Okay. So, I mean, you should be specific. I mean, you should not set a very high goal. You should do it in small steps. Okay. Also, you should examine your expectations. Decide if they are realistic. If they are not, that doesn't mean giving up on the goals, says Abramson. Instead, break into multiple steps. As I said already, well, if you, do not simply just ignore your big goals, but do it in small steps so that you can achieve that goal later on. Okay. So this was my video about New Year blues. In fact, I talked a lot about rumination also. So I hope you will find this video helpful. If you have any questions about New Year blues or any other thing related to my profession, you can ask me. And if you want me to upload a video for an illness, for that video is already not there, you can also post in the comment section. And as soon as I find time, I'll try to upload that video as soon as possible. Thanks for watching this video. See you in next video. Bye.